Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tech Academy. My name is Adam Lavergne. Today, we're going to look at our virtual warehouse feature within techOMS. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or just curious about the future, this webinar has something for everyone. All right, we're going to jump into techOMS. Before we go ahead and walk through setting up virtual warehouses, I guess really fundamentally we need to ask ourselves, why? Why the virtual warehouse? What benefits does a virtual warehouse bring? Well, if you think about a sales channel, say Shopify or WooCommerce, you have the concept of fulfillment orders that route to a particular location. So you may have 3 physical warehouses, and each of those physical warehouses could be set up as an inventory location or fulfillment location within your sales channel. In that case, when an order comes in through your sales channel, it's going to route to one of those 3 fulfillment locations based off of the internal routing mechanism of either the Shopify or the WooCommerce or the sales channel of choice. It's great when you have all 3 locations set up, but what happens if you're a 3PL fulfiller and your seller only has one of your locations set up within Shopify? It means you're not exposing all of the inventory available. You're leaving money on the table. Look at it from the other point of view. In previous webinars, we've discussed the power of dynamic routing within techOMS, where techOMS will use techSHIP and rate shopping calls to select the ideal warehouse for fulfillment based off of either the estimated cost of delivery or the estimated speed of delivery, depending on which selection criteria you're using. That's a far more powerful routing decision than just looking at state or zip. It takes into account density of lanes, it takes into account discounts across lanes, etc. It makes the ideal warehousing selection for every single order by calculating out every single order. In order to take advantage of dynamic warehouse routing, in the case that you only have one of your locations connected to a Shopify sales channel or WooCommerce sales channel, and you want to expose all of your inventory, it lacks mechanism on how to enable that. That's what really led us to develop the virtual warehousing feature. So within the virtual warehouse, what you do is you define the physical locations that are going to comprise the virtual warehouse. And that virtual warehouse is what you connect to the sales channel. So if we jump into techOMS, let's set up the virtual warehouse and walk through it as we go. So underneath the warehouses, you can see I have a list of different warehouses. I've created a national virtual warehouse. Let's delete this. Let's just create a new one. This is my Canadian virtual warehouse. And my Canadian virtual warehouse, we call it virtual, is going to be a combination of some physical warehouses. So I'm going to take my Toronto warehouse and I'm going to take my West Coast warehouse and I'm going to take my Atlantic Canada warehouse. So I'm taking 3 different warehouse locations geographically dispersed across Canada, and I'm going to encapsulate them or wrap them to behave from a sales channel perspective as though they're a single location. Now, if we look at the bottom, you can see my virtual Canadian warehouse. It's a virtual warehouse, and the members of our central GTA, West, East. Perfect. So now we've set up the virtual warehouse within my demo organization. So all of my individual seller accounts now have access to this virtual location. If we go into my primary demo account, we're going to edit it. We're going to come to warehouses. The demo accounts, I have a long list of warehouses. Scroll down to the virtual warehouse. Here you can see under virtual warehouses, virtual Canadian warehouse. So I'm going to enable this virtual warehouse for my principal demo account. I'll hit save. Now I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to jump into my demo account itself. So if we go to the sales channel, let's go find a Shopify channel. When we talk about warehouse mappings, we have our external warehouse. Let's now bridge that to our virtual Canadian warehouse. So now in doing so, our Shopify store is now bound to our virtual Canadian warehouse. Save this, and when we go to look at our inventory, let's look at our Canadian warehouse only. So now you can see here my inventory is updated. My Apparently my virtual warehouse is low on stock. That said, let's see if I can find a record, positive record, now the negative record. There we go. We've got some test SKUs and we've got some phone cases. If we look at the phone case, we have 2,445 SKUs available. And you can see the breakout between each of the physical warehouses. So at all times, you're able to look at that inventory, both what's being passed from a physical perspective, what's being passed to the sales channel through that virtual warehouse, but also you can look to see physically who has what, where, when, why, and how. So now in our Shopify channel, this phone case, we're going to show 2,445 available. In the initial example I gave, where you only have a single fulfillment location set up in the Shopify, but you have 3 physical inventory locations, which location is it? If you bind Shopify to your Toronto warehouse, you're out of stock. But in reality, you have a lot of inventory. So this gives you the ability to merge and consolidate all of those inventory records from 3 warehouses and connect that to Shopify. What's more interesting, when you get an order from Shopify, it is not selecting the physical warehouse for it to be routed to. techOMS is doing that. As I mentioned, dynamic order routing. techOMS will route between, in this case, east and west, as both have inventory. It's going to select east or west based off of the estimated cost of delivery from the dynamic order routing perspective, sending that order to the location that is going to optimize your shipping. Again, don't need to tell you, shipping is one of the biggest line items on your P&L. It has a marked impact on order profitability, contribution margin, and ultimately EBITDA. So whatever we can do to optimize our shipping rates puts us best foot forward in terms of driving profitability. What gets even more interesting within the virtual warehouse, and we will eventually expand this feature out to all channel plugins, but within the virtual warehouse itself, I'm going to set a 2-hour order delay. So now that we've bonded that virtual warehouse to Shopify, behind the scenes within the database, what you don't see is when we set this 2-hour delay, we're not holding the order within Shopify for 2 hours. As you can see here from the tooltips, with the virtual allocation, rather than holding the order in Shopify and delaying adjusting that order into techOMS for 2 hours or 4 hours or whatever you have set, and running the risk of overselling, we immediately download that order into the virtual allocation model within techOMS. In doing so, we trigger the real-time adjustments, which means your connected sales channels are decremented based off of the order we just received. At the end of that internal timer, we release the order. But before we release the order, we do an order update call. Has anything changed on the order? Ship to information, bill to information, quantities, lines, SKUs, etc. We pick up the latest rendition of this order. We now release this to be fulfilled. We give the same functionality, same features and benefits as holding the order in Shopify without the risk of overselling. As I said, this will expand to all sales channel plugins in the near future. Today, the order hold works specifically hand in glove with the virtual warehousing. And now that we have the order hold functionality attached to the sales channel, you can see where this starts to build. So from an iterative process, now that we can hold orders, what else do we want to do with the orders? So some of the things that we have on the time horizon related to order holds includes the ability to do order consolidation within techOMS. Once we hold that order and we build the order hold into our rules engine, it allows us to create different functions. So for example, set up scheduled release times. Introduce order consolidation to consolidate any orders with the same consignee address within that 24-hour or 12-hour order hold period, merge them into a single order, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this foundational component that today is attached to the virtual warehouse also really exposes a lot of potential features and benefits that we're going to introduce into the product flow in the coming weeks and months. So again, if we come back to it, today, the benefit of the virtual warehouse is for those who are using multiple fulfillment nodes and you want to override the native order routing rules within Shopify, for example, you can create the virtual warehouse. That virtual warehouse, you identify the physical warehouses, and you connect the virtual warehouse to your Shopify or your WooCommerce. You're going to ingest all orders. You're going to merge and you're going to push inventory respective to all locations to and from Shopify. When that order gets into techOMS, now you can maximize your savings by optimizing the order routing through dynamic order routing, using the power of TechSHIP to select the ideal fulfillment location for each order based off of estimated cost of delivery or estimated speed of transit. You also now have the benefit of moving that order delay from Shopify into techOMS, ingesting the orders, setting the delay within the virtual allocation model in techOMS so that the real-time inventory adjustments are triggered, keeping all other connected sales channels in sync, reducing the risk of overselling, maximizing your sales potential. And then when that order timer expires within techOMS, techOMS is doing an order update call to make sure that the order that's being transmitted to the warehouse for fulfillment is the latest and greatest iteration of that order. I look forward to some of these new features that we're going to springboard off of now that we have that order hold location within techOMS, as we expand that virtual warehousing and that virtual hold location across the platform. For businesses, this foundation isn't just more automation, it's smarter and more responsive, and it gives a full opportunity to maximize order routing within your connected sales channels, taking it from that Shopify fulfillment model, bringing that into techOMS and leveraging dynamic order routing to maximize savings and maximize profitability. Thank you for joining me today. Be sure to tune into our next episode in our Tech Academy series, where we'll continue unlocking efficiencies and helping you get the most out of techOMS. See you next time.